Welcome to our YouTube channel, Research Ready and Student Matters Hub by Doclin. And I'm Doclin. I'm here to guide you on your research and academic journey. Now, ikaw ba ay decided na kung gagamit ka ng quantitative approach? Ngayon kung hindi pa, maaring makatulong sa iyo ang video na ito para naman makita mo yung benefits at limitations ng paggamit ng qualitative approach. Watch the video till the end because I'm also going to give you tips and examples. Here are the benefits and limitations of qualitative research with tips and examples. Benefit number 1, it captures changing attitudes. When you're using a qualitative approach, it can capture the changing attitudes within the target group which cannot be done using quanti. Such example, consumers of a product or service or attitudes of people in different situations. Let's take an example. There is a study conducted by a company, Green Clean, which aims to understand how their customers perceive their new eco-friendly cleaning products. Yung researcher, nag-conduct siya ng in-depth interviews sa 20 customers who had been using the product for at least 6 months. Nire-reveal ng interview that initially, many customers were skeptical about the product's effectiveness at sinasabi nila na masyado itong mahal. However, habang tuloy-tuloy daw nilang ginagamit yung product, their attitudes shifted. They began to appreciate the product's benefits and they felt good about supporting a company that prioritized sustainability. The study captured the changing attitudes by highlighting the themes that emerged from the interviews, such customers' growing awareness of environmental issues and their desire to make more suitable choices. Number 2 provides flexible approach. Qualitative research provides a much more flexible approach than quantitative. If useful insights are not being captured, researchers can quickly adapt questions, change the setting, or any other variable to improve responses. Let us provide an example. Merong isang study na nagsasagawa ng qualitative research in order to know yung mga saloobin at karanasan ng mga estudyante sa isang bagong online learning platform. Yung mga researcher, nagsagawa sila ng focus group discussions at meron din silang in-depth interviews sa mga students in order for them to know yung kanilang mga pananaw at yung mga problems nila sa paggamit ng platform na ito. Habang isinasagawa nila yung pag-aaral, natuklasan ng mga researcher na merong mga ilang aspeto ng platform na hindi naiintindihan ng mga estudyante. Dahil sa flexibility ng qualitative research design, mabilis na bago ng mga researcher yung mga tanong sa interviews at focus groups para mas maging clear at malaman nila yung issue at yung mga suggestions ng mga students. Binago din nila yung setting ng interview. Kunyari, gumamit sila ng breakout rooms para sa Zoom upang mapalakas yung interaction at makuha nila yung mga detailed feedback. Sa pamamagitan ng pagbabago ng tanong at ng setting, habang sinasagawa nila yung study, nakapag-record sila ng mas maraming importanteng insights mula sa mga estudyante. Nagbigay daan to makapag-develop sila ng platform na gumagawa ng changes at naisasaayos niya yung platform para mapabuti yung karanasan ng mga students. Number 3, allows speculative investigations. Qualitative research allows researchers to be far more speculative about what areas they choose to investigate and how are we going to do that. It allows data capture to be prompted by researchers' instinctive or gut feel for where good information will be found. Because in doing a qualitative research, you are really involving yourselves in data collection, where in a quantitative research that you give surveys or you record data, sometimes you cannot capture what is really the meaning of those data. Number 4 can be more targeted. Qualitative research can be more targeted than quantitative research. If you want to compare productivity across the entire organization, all parts, process, and participants need to be accounted for. Using qualitative research, it can be far more concentrated, sampling specific groups and key points to gather meaningful data. Number 5 provides rich contextual data. Qualitative research provides data which make valuable insights into complex phenomena. Inaalaw niya ang mga researchers na makapture yung nuances and complexities of human experiences and perceptions. Now, let's proceed with the limitations of the qualitative approach. Firstly, time-consuming process. It involves scheduling and conducting the interviews, which takes several weeks and even months or years, as the researcher needs to coordinate with each of the busy schedule of the participants. Plus, you have to transcribe and analyze the data interview, which is a labor-intensive process. Number 2, difficulty in verifying results. The participants' responses are commonly influenced by their individual experiences, their perspectives, and their emotions. While the researcher can identify common themes after obtaining data, it's very challenging to verify the results against specific scenarios or outcomes. It is not like quantitative research which establishes causality. Number 3 is labor-intensive analysis. The researchers spend significant time categorizing, coding, and analyzing the interview transcripts to identify key themes and insights. This is totally different with quantitative analysis that once you have identified the statistical treatment, the data are done. On qualitative, this process requires expertise in qualitative data analysis, which will be discussed in another video. Analyzing this voluminous, multi-layered data is very time-consuming compared to quantitative data analysis. The researchers must carefully code their data, identify patterns and themes, and interpret the findings. This process is obviously more labor-intensive than running statistical formulas on numerical data. Number 4 is difficulty in investigating causality. While the interviews provide rich contextual data which cannot be provided by the quantitative approach, the researcher cannot determine the direct causes of the challenges they faced or the impact of specific interventions. Number 5 is difficulty in replicating studies. The difficulty in replicating studies is part of the limitation of the qualitative approaches due to the following reasons. First, the data created in one context is not easily transferable to another context. Second, the research methods are not easily reproducible. And third one, the interpretations of data are not easily verifiable. Studies conducted in one place are not easily replicable in another place. The reason behind it is that there might be cultural and economic factors that cause differences in the data. Let us now proceed on addressing the limitations of qualitative approach. First one is triangulation. My tip: combine in-depth interviews, focus groups, and observations to provide a broader and more accurate picture of the phenomena under study. Huwag ka lang gagamit ng in-depth interviews o kaya naman focus group lang. Pwede mo silang i-combine. Or you can use multiple methods or data sources to gather comprehensive data so that you can confirm the findings. Example, your study is all about the effect of social media on academic performance. So, pwede kang gumamit ng combination ng survey, focus group, at classroom observations upang makakuha ka ng mas magandang data sa epekto ng social media sa mga estudyante. Number 2 is member checking. My tip is you show participants the transcripts of their interviews to confirm the accuracy of the data and the interpretation of their statements. You return to them the findings so that they can ensure the accurate interpretation of their responses. Number 3, you might also involve thick description. So my tip on this, include detailed narratives and quotes from participants to give a clearer picture of the findings. Ito yung mga tinatawag na confirmatory statements. Meron kang themes at analysis at naglalagay ka ng mga ilang eksaktong sinabi or narratives ng iyong participants para mapatunayan na ang iyong themes ay galing sa mga sinabi ng iyong mga participants during the interview. Number 4 is audit trail. My tip on this, you maintain a detailed logs of data collection, analysis, and decision-making process so other researchers can review the rigor of your study. You have to document all the steps in the research process para ma-ensure mo yung transparency at may allow mo yung verification ng process ng iyong findings. In other words, you have to have proper documentation of all the data you are going to obtain. Number 5 is reflexivity. Tanong, Sach, kung ikaw ay magkakaroon ng isang pag-aaral sa mga kapwa mo guro at sila iyong i-interviewin, ang tanong, paano mo maihihiwalay ang sarili mong perception sa perception ng iyong mga kasamang guro? My tip on this is you have to write a reflexive journal to examine and document the researcher's reactions, biases, and thoughts throughout the study. You have to acknowledge and consider yung personal biases and perspectives para ma-avoid mo yung skewing the interpretation of data. Number 6 is maximizing variation. My tip on this is select participants from various demographic and socioeconomic backgrounds to obtain a wide range of viewpoints. You have to establish your inclusion and exclusion criteria before you make your interviews. It means that you're going to select your participants based on the criteria that you have set before the study will be conducted. You have to ensure a diverse range of participants to capture different perspectives and experiences. Diyan natatapos ang video natin sa benefits, limitations, tips, and examples ng qualitative approach. But before we end our video, let's answer our learning assessment. Kung nakatulong sa iyo ang video na to, please like, share, and subscribe para updated ka sa mga latest lesson videos. Always remember, we unlock insights to empower your minds. Thanks for watching!